Everest doesn't take you on the way up. It waits. When the air thins and your legs tremble, one lazy clip turns a victory lap into a drop you can't stop. The strange part? More people perish after they tag the top than on the way to it. The selfie feels like the finish line. It isn't. It's the start of the hardest part. Getting back with your head clear and your feet honest. By the time most climbers turn around, their oxygen math is tight, their hands are numb, and their focus has narrowed to a tunnel. The ridge they swore was easy at sunrise turns sharp and glassy in the afternoon wind. That's the trap. It doesn't look like drama. It looks like a half second of inattention. An unlock that didn't quite relock, a crampon point that skates, a step taken without feeling the rope. There are places on this mountain that punish distraction on repeat. The balcony is one of them, a cramped ledge in the sky where people wrestle with frosted masks and swap bottles while the wind claws at everything. Metal hisses. Straps refuse to behave. One glove off for 5 seconds feels harmless, until pain zaps your fingers and steals your focus. In 2019, Irish climber Seamus Lawless vanished during the descent near this zone. No theatrics. One moment a headlamp in a line, the next a gap that never closed. Higher up, the ridge between the south summit and the crest, where the Hillary step once created a clean choke point, looks like a silver spine. It also hides cornices, wind-built shelves that pretend to be floor. In a recent season, a cornice fractured under a cluster of climbers. 2 were swept toward Tibet before anyone could react. You can be clipped, alert, and moving by the book. If the shelf decides it was hollow all along, the rope isn't a magic spell. Gravity doesn't bargain. Farther down, the Lhotse face turns from firm to cruel with a tiny change in weather. Ice that bit in the morning turns slick and loud in the afternoon. People don't tumble like in movies. They accelerate low and silent until the mountain runs out. Lower still, the Khumbu Icefall doesn't care how careful you are. Ladders flex, bridges thin. Seracs shift while you're beneath them. Sherpa teams thread that maze again and again, so the route exists at all, and they pay for our ambitions more than anyone. That's where legends fall too. In 2001, Babu Chiri Sherpa, 10 Everest summits, a day spent on the top without bottled oxygen, went into a crevasse near Camp 2 and never came home. No scandal, just a reminder that the mountain moves when it wants. What makes these spots so unforgiving is how the death zone edits your brain. Above 8,000 meters, thoughts slog like they're wading through syrup. Balance tilts, depth lies. You know the drill. Switch lanyards, check the gate, tug the line, yet your hands fumble the order and your mind promises to double check in a second. That's the second the ridge twitches under your boots. People imagine altitude hits like a hammer. Most of the time, it's a dimmer switch. Words slow, steps drift. Masks ice from the inside. Regulators flutter. Each petty annoyance steals attention from the only job that matters. Stay clipped, stay upright. Cold turns smart hands dumb. Gloves swallow feel, buckles refuse to feed. You pop a glove off for a heartbeat to fix a strap and steel bites skin. Pain grabs the steering wheel of your thoughts. Veterans fight this with ritual. Say the steps out loud, touch the knot, tug the lanyard, plant the axe, breathe, then move. It looks boring. It's armor against a brain running on fumes. Crowding makes everything worse. On good weather days, the ridge becomes a queue. Colorful jackets clipped to the same rope, each waiting for the next anchor. Every pause burns oxygen and patience. That's when good judgment starts to shave corners. You unclip a beat early to be ready. You step wide to pass. You rush a gate that needs one more tug. Inside the mask, it feels efficient. Up here, efficient is how mistakes begin. The photo you've seen, the one of hundreds bunched above the south summit, wasn't a fluke. On seasons when the window is narrow, that line is the whole story. Then night comes. Headlamps tunnel your world. Spindrift eats the horizon. The fixed line sags and snaps tight as strangers lean on it somewhere out of sight. Your bottle hisses low, and the math in your head starts lying. Just one more anchor, just one more minute. That's the voice that talks people into bad moves. It's not reckless, it's human. Momentum can feel safer than stopping to think. Legends aren't immune. In 2017, Uli Steck, the Swiss machine, famous for surgical speed on the Eiger and a minimalist move-clean style, fell on Nuptse while acclimatizing for an Everest Lhotse traverse in a single push. No crowd, no circus. A training day in a vicious neighborhood. He was moving light, likely unroped on hard, unforgiving terrain, where speed is safety right up to the moment it isn't. Somewhere on that face he slipped, and acceleration wrote the ending before any self-arrest could matter. Mastery shrinks risk. It can't erase physics. If a climber like Steck can vanish that fast on a clear morning, the rest of us don't get to rush. He wasn't chasing noise, he was chasing precision. The plan was bold, Everest and Lhotse back-to-back without bottled oxygen. But the method was simple. Strip weight, move early, remove the pauses where mistakes breed. That style lowers exposure time, but it also trims backup. No extra anchors to clip. Fewer seconds at each stance. On Nuptse, where ice can flip from crunchy to glass in a few steps, the same minimalism that makes you efficient also leaves you nothing to lean on when a foot smears or a tool skitters. At that speed, the difference between flawless and final is a breath. That's why his story belongs here. Uli removed the usual excuses. No storm, no crowd, no chaos. Just a world-class climber on familiar ground doing what he did best. And still, one lapse ended everything. It doesn't diminish him, it clarifies the rules. Expertise narrows the window for error, but it doesn't close it. On the Everest Massif, gravity is patient, and the margin is whatever you protect on each move. If a master can be caught inside a single misstep, the rest of us have no business hurrying the last clip. Why don't they just rescue people? Because up here, rescue is a myth with rare exceptions. Helicopters can sometimes reach Camp 2. Above that, conditions and terrain turn flying into a coin flip even for elite pilots. On the ridge, a rescue is your partner burning their own oxygen and strength to keep you moving. Guides do heroic things, but the death zone is where heroics risk 2 lives instead of 1. Outsiders argue about those choices for years. People on the rope carry them forever. The business of Everest adds pressure. Permits don't climb the mountain, but they do set the stage. Big numbers funnel into small weather windows and bottlenecks harden into hours-long waits. After brutal seasons, rule changes always surface. Higher fees, talk of experience requirements like a 7,000-meter summit before Everest, tighter oversight. Maybe that thins the line. Maybe it doesn't. Paperwork can't change the physics of a narrow ridge and a crowded rope. So, what actually bends the odds back? Tempo over speed, checks over pride, margins over moments. Tempo means you move steady enough to protect your attention. Checks mean you touch the system every time, not carabiner, lanyard, even when you're sure. Margins mean you turn around before you have to, carry a little extra, and keep one good option in the bank when weather or crowds go sideways. None of this makes headlines. All of it makes it home. Shrink uncertainty before it shrinks you. Go early, move clean. Practice the rope switch with gloves until it's automatic. Use a simple script and say it out loud when your head fogs. Clip, check, tug, breathe, move. Carry gear that cancels distractions. A spare headlamp so the horizon never disappears. Clear lenses that won't ice when the wind flips. Warmers you save for the one technical section where you need real feel in your fingertips. None of that is glamorous. All of it buys focus. Partners are the real margin. A good partner watches your swap without being asked and expects you to do the same. They don't let you turn efficient into unsafe. They say the thing you don't want to hear when your bottle math goes optimistic. They call the turn in daylight with the summit in sight because they want 2 tickets home, not 1. If that sounds dramatic, remember where you are. The ridge doesn't care how close you were when you made the wrong call. Respect for the people who make the route changes behavior too. Sherpa teams fix lines and weather clients will never feel. Thread ladders while the rest of the mountain sleeps, and carry loads until the odds catch up. Gratitude isn't just polite. It slows you at anchors, keeps you from crowding rope trains, and reminds you the rope isn't a cue to conquer. It's a lifeline you share. And if the ridge turns into a parking lot while your oxygen count whispers bad news, you've got 3 honest choices: hold and manage your heat and focus, retreat to a safer anchor, and reset, or turn before your margin vanishes. Squeeze past on exposure isn't a 4th option. That's a dice roll with everyone else tied to you. Real stories are the point, not the exception. A professor disappears near the balcony after a routine bottle swap. A Cornice fails and takes 2 strong climbers who were standing where everyone stands. A revered Sherpa falls into a hole on a route he could have walked blindfolded because the ice moved. A legend slips on a different face while tuning up for greatness. None of them were careless. All of them were operating where the air edits the rules and the ground offers no second tries. If you came for a single villain, there isn't one. It's a chain. Thin air that fogs judgment, terrain that punishes hesitation, crowds that erase margins, cold that kills feel, gear that asks for fine motor control you no longer have, and a goal so close it tempts you to rush the last clip. Break one link, any link, and the chain is weaker. Let them stack, and the mountain finishes the story. So, the finish line isn't the summit flag. The finish line is the last safe step onto flat ground, breath to spare, partner beside you, and the ridge turning small in the distance. Take the photo fast, let the joy be real, and turn. Move with tempo, keep the ritual, protect the margin. Clip, check, breathe, move, again and again, until the tents bloom below and the noise of the world returns. That's how you beat a place that never wanted you to fall. It just wanted one moment when you forgot the ritual that kept you alive.